we discuss about that causes of the failure of 1857 revolt. This war has gone down in the history as the first and direct threat to British rule in India. In that, so some reasons comes under that causes of the failure. One is lack of plan and organization. Second one, inferior leadership and military skill. Absence of great leader and British diplomacy and no high deal. So important. The famous question they may ask: what were the causes of the failure of 1857 revolt? One is lack of plan and organization. Yes, lack of plan and organization. The first war of independence was remarked by a series of despotic incidents. It had lack of coordination. It lacked coordination among the Indians. British East India Company, they have cooperation, coordination. Coordination helped them to capture large part of India, but among the Indians, it lacked coordination. The rebels had no common goal or plan of action. Remember that is Indian rebellions. Our soldiers, our kings had no common goal and plan of action. None of them knew what to do after reason was captured. They don't know what to do when they captured. That was no reason for the failure. So like that, and one more it is, they were unable to consolidate their early military success. So due to three reasons: due to lack of, due to organization, lack of plan, lack of organization, and lack of coordination. So the reason failure for 1857 revolt. And come to that, inferior leadership and military skill. Among the Indians, Indian rebellions, there was a inferior leadership and they had lacked military skill. British had war techniques. They have a lot of war techniques and they had good leaderships. Very good leaders were there in the British armies, especially the skill, powers and able leadership of Havelock. General Henry Havelock was able leader. And Colin Campbell was one more able leader. Nicholson, remember that is able leaders in the British Army. General Havelock, Campbell, Nicholson, Rose and Henry Lawrence are able to, they had the great leadership, but lack of incisive decision on the part of Nana Sahib. Lack of incisive decision on the part of Nana Sahib. The great courage but inferiority in warfare of Tantia Topi, Johnson Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Wajid Ali, like number of Indian leaders failed to face the Britishers. But British side, they had good leadership. Among the Indian side, no good leadership. There is a lack of unity among the Indians, lack of cooperation, lack of plan. Lack means L-A-C-K, lack of plan, lack of organization, and lack of plan of action, lack of common goal were the reason for that failure. And come to that, absence of great leader. Just now I told you, the Indians lacked in iconic leader who could diffuse that disparate and scattered rebels into consolidated unit. They were failed to make unity among the Indians. There was no leader to statize a definite policy and a plan and action with positive results. That is one national movement do throw up a national leaders, but in 1857 India, no such leader arose. Perhaps because it was not a national movement in that the true essence of them. So that's what the great leaderships. It means the war occurred against the British in one reason after another reason. whole Indians, all the North Indian kings together, they did not revolt against that Britishers was one of the reasons. So mainly absence of the great leader, one of the reason for the failure. And come to the next, British diplomacies. A notable reason for the failure was resourcefulness. What was the main reason? The notable reason for the failure was that resourcefulness of the British to gather around their banner, the support of the Sikhs, one side the Gurkhas, another side Sikhs, and the Panthas, and some of that northwestern frontiers. They were supported that Britishers. British had plan. Remember that is this first war of Indian independence could not spread in entire India. Only it was continued in that North Indian place. A few places in North India was one of the reasons for the failures. Remember, they followed good policies how to capture India, but Indian failed to how to defend the Indian region from that British rule. Some of the Indian kings supported the British. That was the main reason. What was that? Some of the Indian kings, for example, I told you that is kings of Sikhs, Punjab, and the Pathans and Gurkhas and like that, etc. Some of that educated Indians supported the Britishers because of their policies, because of their diplomacies, due to capture the reasons to remain as a leader. Some of the Indians, they supported the British. So the British followed diplomacies to capture that India. Next, coming to that, no high deal. The principal motives that sustained the movement were hatred and dissatisfaction among that Indians toward the Britishers, and the hope of material gains in dividing them out. So the hope of materials driving them out was one of the reasons, and along with that, coming to that, a spirit of nationalism, the spirit of nationalism and a religious inspiration. The spirit of nationalism, religious inspiration as that guiding force very visibly lacking. What were lacking? A spirit of nationalism, a religious inspiration as the guiding force were visibly lacking. So this is one, and it contrasted with the patriotism of the British in retaining an empire and defending their territories. That is, and also that the leaders had no vision of setting up of national state. Leaders has no vision setting up a national state, and they could not inspire the same spirit in their own, many of whom helped the British during their freedom struggle. So due to all these reasons, remember that is lack of plan and organization, inferior leadership and military skill, absence of great leader and British diplomacies, and finally no ideal were the examples reason for that the failure of 1857 revolt. And that clearly is usually you can decide it, you can learn about that is this revolt could not spread in entire India. Some of the Indians supported the Britishers, and lack of unity among the Indians. There was no plan, organization, strategy, war techniques, military skills among the Indians, but all these British they followed war techniques, skills, how to capture India. So due to all these reasons, Indians were failed to capture, Indians were failed to defend their territories, regions, empires or kingdoms from that Britishers were the reason. So Indians were defeated by the British. So next period, in next class we'll discuss about that. What were the results of 1857 uprising?